Welcome back. All right, so as expected, second news of the day video. I'm wearing my Canada hat. Close to a Canada hat as I have really, and you know, normally July 1st is the day of free agency, and this year, of course, for the second straight season, we don't have free agency on July 1st. But there's discussions about who's a free agent, and of course we've got the expansion draft, so there's a lot of stuff coming up. But we'll start off with Jack Eichel. Word came out today that Jack Eichel and the Sabres are working together on some sort of a resolution for his treatment. He wants to have a surgery done that's never been done on an NHL player before. The team is concerned, and I think there's some legitimacy to that concern, that an experimental procedure for a neck problem could lead to more problems than it solves, and they want him to go through rehabilitation. He didn't want to do rehab, so that they may get this straightened out. This doesn't necessarily affect whether or not he's still in Buffalo, but if they can come up with an agreement on how this is to be treated, that could make him easier to trade, and it could help them get a better return. So we'll see what happens with Buffalo. Tony DeAngelo, because every now and then people will ask, what's going on with Tony DeAngelo? Nothing. But that's going to change. So he will be bought out by the New York Rangers. That's the word that's out there, that the Rangers are going to buy him out. It's the penalty you get for buying a guy out who's younger is less than when they're older. It gets only 1/3 of the cap hit. So, DeAngelo will be bought out, and for the New York Rangers, that'll end that chapter. And there apparently, when he was available previously, there were 5 teams rumored to be in on him, so there will be teams that are bidding on his services who look and say, you know what, he's a good offensive defenseman. There might be a character issue there that a team may be scared off by, but somebody somewhere is going to put pen to paper and give him a contract. We'll see how much it is, and it may be one of those huge bargain contracts next season, right? Tarasenko, that may be the next one to fall. I've been waiting on when the Vlad Tarasenko trade's going to take place. It's out there that St. Louis is trying to trade him, and of course, LA picking up Arvidsson might take him out, or maybe it makes them more interested in Tarasenko. Maybe they say, you know what, if we can add Tarasenko and we add Arvidsson, and if we can do it without losing anybody off our current roster, that might be all right. But for Tarasenko and the Blues, odds are it's probably the contract they want out from underneath, and Tarasenko may never get back to the kind of goal scoring that we saw from him years ago. He may just at this point be too beat up. Injuries can work that way, where you just don't have that effectiveness. Now, I'm using a Seattle Kraken magnet for the next bit, even though he's not Seattle property. I'm just doing that just to have fun. Matty Beniers is leaning towards going back to University of Michigan in the fall. And as I've said in other videos, I would be very surprised if we see players out of this draft class play in the NHL next year. In a lot of cases, players may not have had the right amount of time to develop. And in the case of college students, they will very often not go straight into the NHL. They'll usually want to at least have that one more year in university. And NHL teams are usually pretty good about, not raising a fuss that a player's going back to university. So we'll see. We'll see if Beniers does that. And we'll see if he ends up being Seattle Kraken property. That's my guess, is that he's number 2, Power's number 1. But again, we'll see what happens this month. Yeah, July is going to be a very, very action-packed month. Connor McDavid, he said this yesterday. I don't think he's alone. I think there's a lot of NHL players that agree on this. They're expecting Olympic participation. They're not happy that this is kind of dragging. Gary Bettman wanted it done and finished and dealt with before now. It hasn't been. So yeah, McDavid expects Olympic participation, and I would expect a lot of other NHLers feel the exact same way. And so we will see over the next couple of weeks how it turns out, because we've got to reach a deadline soon here. The NHL wants to release their schedule on July 23rd, and then that way people are able to buy tickets. And in order to get that done, you have to have the Olympic thing cleared up. I do understand why the NHL doesn't necessarily want to go, but I also understand why players want to go. If they didn't get to go to the last one, they want to go to this one. So, yeah, we'll see how things turn out. The Seth Jones rumors are still out there. There's a lot of them. And at this point, the ones I see most often are like Philly, Calgary. There's some maybe Edmonton, right? Because if Barry leaves, then maybe they bring in Seth Jones. Of course, the caveat is that teams want Jones to sign the extension before they're going to trade for him. So we'll see whether or not Seth Jones does get traded from Columbus, what that does to his numbers. Because I know, advanced stats people are going to immediately jump on this with Jones is overrated. But I do wonder if maybe Jones wasn't being deployed correctly. And sometimes it can be that a player's not played enough or a player can be played too much. And in Jones's case, I do think he probably gets played a little bit too much. Might make him a little bit less effective if you're being overplayed. But again, we'll see what happens and where he ends up. Today's temperature is much more bearable. 24 degrees Celsius, 76 degrees Fahrenheit. There was somebody who took issue with the fact that I was using Fahrenheit in one of my videos, lost his mind. So, all right. I'll also start throwing Kelvin on the board too. So it's summer, sure, why not? But hey, let me know your thoughts regarding any of these topics, and if Eichel and the Sabres are figuring this out, does that make it more likely for him to stay or easier for him to be traded? Let me know your thoughts, or maybe both. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support, and for Eagle Eye viewers. Yes, I do have an orange shirt underneath my my jersey. Yvonne ordered. I think we've got one for each kid, and we got one for ourselves. One for me, one for her, obviously. The Every Child Matters shirts. So we're wearing those today. We did go out and do Canada Day stuff, but we had those shirts on the whole time. So it's an interesting time right now, and I thank you guys so much for being here and for helping the channel to grow, and that the channel's a part of it as well. So hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.